So we begin from last night's Backlash pay-per-view. All the gold is on the line. Stone Cold's WWF title, Triple H's Intercontinental Championship, and Kane and The Undertaker's WWF Tag Team titles are also at stake. Who leaves with all the power and all the gold? Raw opens up with The Undertaker coming down to the ring. He wants revenge for last night. He asked Stone Cold Steve Austin to be a man and settle it in the ring one-on-one for the WWF Championship. But out comes Stone Cold Steve Austin with Triple H and Vince McMahon. Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin look like they were about to attack The Undertaker when Kane comes in and makes a save. Austin and Triple H and Vince retreat. Stephanie McMahon is seen walking backstage looking for somebody when she bumps into Michael Cole and Taz. She asks Michael Cole and Taz if they've seen Test by any chance. Michael Cole and Taz reply that they haven't. Stephanie McMahon tells them that if they do happen to see Test, to send them Stephanie's way because he's in big trouble. In the first match of the night, the Hardy Boys take on Edge and Christian. Last night at Backlash, Matt Hardy successfully retained the European Championship against the former champion Eddie Guerrero and Christian in a triple threat match. When Edge and Christian come out to the ring, Eddie Guerrero comes and accompanies them. Edge and Christian get up to the usual shenanigans, but Eddie Guerrero ends up costing Christian for the victory, and as a result the Hardy Boys win. Edge and Christian can't believe what Eddie Guerrero's done, but at the same time the Hardy Boys are confused. What is Eddie Guerrero's agenda? Last night at Backlash, X Factor defeated the Dudley Boys in a 6-man tag team match. Backstage, Spike Dudley is seen pouring himself a drink. When all members of X Factor come over, X Factor laughs at Spike Dudley being on his own, saying, "Where's your brothers now? They're not going to come out to help you, are they?" Spike Dudley says, "If you want to fight right now, I'll quite happily take all three of you on. I'm not afraid." X-Pac looks at Justin Credible, laughs, and then all three members of X-Factor beat Spike Dudley down. Vince McMahon, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H all come down to the ring. Triple H and Steve Austin celebrate with the Intercontinental and WWF titles respectively, and now that they hold the WWF Tag Team titles as well. Vince McMahon reminds the audience, he who has the power has the gold, but he who has the gold has the power. Now that we have all the gold, we have the power to say, no, Stone Cold Steve Austin will not be defending his WWF title against The Undertaker tonight. Linda McMahon's music hit. She's up on the ramp and says, "That's not the way I see it, Vince. Tonight, Stone Cold Steve Austin will defend his WWF title tonight against The Undertaker. And to make sure there's absolutely no problems with the end result, Triple H, Vince, you will be barred from ringside. But in the interest of fairness, Kane will also be barred from ringside as well. We will have a winner tonight." Vince, Triple H and Austin are irate. Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn take on Steven Richards and Val Venis of Right to Censor. This is the first of two matches for Right to Censor tonight, as the other team of Gugfather and Bull Buchanan will be facing the APA. In this match, Gugfather accidentally hits Steven Richards and Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn pick up the victory. Bubba Ray and Devon attended to Spike Dudley after the ambush by X Factor earlier. There is a 6-man tag team rematch scheduled later for tonight. When Devon asks Bubba Ray what are we going to do for a third member, Bubba Ray Dudley has an idea and asks Devon to follow him. We're in the Commissioner's office. William Regal is happy after his Duchess of Queensberry Rule's victory against Chris Jericho last night. In comes Trish Stratus. She asks, "Do you want to see me?" William Regal replies, "Oh, yes, dear, I did. See, I'm in a rather jovial mood after last night, and Mr. McMahon wants to know if you fancy some action. Seems like you haven't had any for a while. How would you feel about wearing women's championship gold?" Trish Stratus looks forward to the idea. William Regal replies, "Well, you may get your chance, darling, but tonight you've got to beat the women's champion China in a non-title match. Best of luck, dear. Run along." It's a six-man tag team match next, as X Factor will take on Dudley Boys and a mystery partner to replace Spike. When the Dudley Boys hit the ring, Bubba Ray Dudley announces to X Factor that their mystery tag team partner is Kane. And in the six-man tag team match, Kane and the Dudley Boys beat X Factor. Backstage, Stephanie is walking around and finally catches up to Test. Stephanie warns Test to keep out of family business, and as punishment for interfering in the Big Show's Shane Last Man Standing match last night, Test will go one-on-one with the Big Show. Test doesn't seem too fazed by this, turns to Stephanie and says, "Well, I'm quite surprised you managed to find an opponent for me who's a bigger bitch than you are." Stephanie scoffs and storms off as Test laughs. Kurt Angle comes to the ring, obviously upset over last night's defeat in the 30-minute Ultimate Submission match against Chris Benoit. He tells the audience that "I didn't lose at Backlash last night. It went to overtime." Chris Benoit comes out and says, "Well, okay, you didn't lose to me, but you didn't win either. How about we settle things in the ring right now?" Kurt Angle leaves the ring and walks away. In the non-title women's match, Chyna beats Trish Stratus. Trish tried her best, but unfortunately wasn't to be. After the match, Chyna asks if there's any competition left. Lita comes out and says, "Do you know what? I quite fancy a challenge. I think I'm good enough." Chyna acknowledges Lita's answer and smiles. Chris Jericho comes out, want to avenge his defeat from last night. He says, "I want you, William Regal, one-on-one in a match right now, with some rules this time, some consistent rules." Regal comes out and says, "You want a match, sunshine, with consistent rules? Alright, that sounds good. I'll be happy to oblige." As Regal comes out, Haku follows him, and Rhino follows behind Haku. Regal turns around to Jericho and says, "It's a 3-on-1 handicap match, sunshine. You know what those rules are? Does that sound consistent enough for you?" And it doesn't take much to beat Chris Jericho as a result. Regal, Haku and Rhino defeat Jericho in a 3-on-1 handicap match. Regal looks down at a beaten Jericho and says, "Let that be a bloody lesson, sunshine, for you to challenge me again." When Raven comes out to the ring, Regal backs off. Raven just holds his arms up as Regal walks off up the ramp. Raven asks, "What about me? What about Raven?" Vince is with Austin, Triple H and Deborah in Vince's suite backstage. Steve Austin is pacing up and down the room. "This isn't fair, Vince. I shouldn't be having to defend my WWF title like this." Vince agrees. He says, "Yeah, but you're the Texas Rattlesnake. You're Stone Cold Steve Austin." Austin turns around and says, "You're damn right I am. I could whip Undertaker's ass any day of the week, twice on Sunday." Triple H assures Stone Cold Steve Austin, "Yeah, you've got this, no problem at all. Go on and show them who's the champion." Triple H turns around and says, "If you don't mind, I've got to leave and take care of some business," as Triple H walks out. In a second tag team match for Right to Centre, the APA protection, Farouk and Bradshaw defeat Gugfather and Bull Buchanan. Stephen Richards and Val Venus have tried to help, but unfortunately it's come to no avail. The Right to Centre have lost the match again. And as a result, all 4 members, including Ivory, who was at ringside, start arguing with each other. There's tension within the ranks of right to centre. In the next match, Big Show takes on Test. Test puts up a valiant effort, but it soon becomes apparent as to why Test is fighting the Big Show when Triple H comes in and attacks Test, giving Big Show the victory. After the match, Triple H continues to beat down on Test. This is obviously the business that Triple H was referring to taking care of. Eddie Guerrero's with the Hardy Boys backstage. He said he didn't appreciate Edge and Christian's underhanded tactics in a tag team match earlier tonight. Eddie Guerrero tells the Hardy Boys, "Do you know what I say? Jesus never win." Eddie walks off as the Hardy Boys look confused. Chris Benoit is seen leaving the building, but before he can leave, Angle attacks him from behind. He throws him into a wall, sees a few of the steel bars at the side of Benoit, and starts attacking him on the ground. It's the main event as Stone Cold Steve Austin defends the WWF Championship against The Undertaker. The Undertaker looks ready for this. Stone Cold Steve Austin seems a little bit apprehensive coming down to the ring. It's evident that The Undertaker's getting the majority of the strikes in this match. As The Undertaker sets up Stone Cold Steve Austin for the chokeslam, Bad Man comes on the Titantron. The Undertaker turns around to see that Rikishi's standing on the ramp. The Undertaker, wondering what on earth's going on, turns around and walks into a submission from Stone Cold Steve Austin, the $1 Million Dream. It's enough to put The Undertaker out. Stone Cold Steve Austin has managed to retain the WWF title. Stone Cold Steve Austin stands there, looks at Rikishi with a sadistic smile on his face. Rikishi doesn't have any emotion on his face at all. The Undertaker comes round and he looks pissed as Raw goes off the air. So the first show rating ends in a 74. I mean, I do know we're playing this in the past. It's always hard in the beginning. You need at least a couple of months, maybe longer, to start getting the momentum going. The general feeling is that WWF don't have enough interesting storylines going on. I know what needs to be done in order to fix this, but it's going to take some time. I think 74 is probably not too bad for a first show, maybe. But yeah, that is how we end Raw is War. I'll try and get the SmackDown videos out as soon as I possibly can. But thank you very much for watching.